Hello, thanks for joining on today's webinar. I am Erika Garcia, and I belong to the enablement team in Boyum IT. And on this session, we are going to see how we can increase our picking options using the picking strategies of Produmex WMS. First of all, we are going to see in this session a little bit of summary about the Produmex WMS picking functionality, and then we are going to explore the options, some of the options that we have with using Produmex WMS with SAP Business One, regarding to the strategies of multi-picking, wave picking, and zone picking. And well, what are we looking with Produmex WMS? First of all, we want to increase the warehouse efficiency, productivity, and profitability. All this using also SAP Business One and having this additional functionality with Produmex WMS. With Produmex WMS, we can create pick list from the next documents, like a sales order, a sales reserve invoice, an inventory transfer request. Of course, if the source warehouse is managed by Produmex, I'm going to explain a little bit in this session about this. And of course, a production order. It's important to say that Produmex WMS comes with its own picking functionality. So that means that we are not going to use the SAP Business One standard picking functionality. And this functionality can be done based on a single pick list, or we can use waves that are going to help us to group many pick lists. So with this kind of strategies, we can group many pick lists and try to increase this or optimize this process in our warehouse. Of course, Produmex provide specialized flows for the picking that we are going to see in this session. And the picking flows that I was talking about in the beginning is about picking in waves. That is, we are going to consolidate many pick lists in one wave, so we can prepare many pick lists using just one wave in the Produmex WMS picking functionality. Also the multi-picking, and also this multi-picking can be performed based on multiple pick lists, but it's going to have a different behavior that we are going to see. And also the zone picking. This picking is performed based on a wave, but beside of using a wave, we are going to use the zones that we have defined inside of our warehouse and in the Produmex WMS functionality. So starting with multi-picking, as I was saying, WMS offers the possibility to pick multiple pick lists at the same time. And of course, we have to consider some configurations inside of this functionality in order to make it work. One of the options is that we have to work with the extension parameter called consolidate items to pick. This belongs to the pick list controller inside of WMS configuration. In this case, the multi-picking behaves like I am having individual pick lists, and these are picked on different movable locations, for example, picking boxes. Once that we select this movable location for each pick list, in the terminal, the warehouse user it's going to prepare all the items for each movable location that is using to pick one of these, each one of these lists. And after the user has prepared all these picking boxes for each one of the pick list, we can make the packing and the shipping for each one of these pick list. So we are going to go to the system, and we will start to see this functionality. First of all, here we have our Produmex module. As you can see, this application is completely integrated with SAP Business One. It's important to say that we have it available on SQL for SQL Server and HANA environment. So first of all, I want to show you the organizational structure. So here is where all the configuration of WMS starts. The important thing in here is that I want to show you how we have all this organizational structure defined in the Produmex module. So all these warehouses are managed by Produmex. One of the main functionalities of WMS is that we can choose the warehouses that we are going to manage with Produmex WMS. And once that we have decided which warehouses are going to be managed by the application, we have to create our structure in order that all the functionality and the transactions in WMS working in a proper way according to the logistics process of our customers. And for example, here I have my mobile devices or the scanners I'm going to use in my warehouse or in our warehouse. And I want to show you, for example, here in the packing zone, that in order to use this functionality, this picking functionality in WMS, of course, I have to define zones, different zones, my packing zone and picking zones. And of course, I need here my movable locations. These movable locations are going to help me to prepare all these picking, all these pick lists in trolleys or cars or picking boxes. This will depend on how the warehouse is being structured about this. And of course, we have to check the extension parameters that I was mentioning at the beginning. Here I have extension parameters, and the one relevant for configuring all this picking behavior, it's called the pick list controller. So when I go to the pick list controller, we are going to check, in order to use multi-picking, we have to make sure that this option of consolidate items to pick, it's unchecked, like we were looking at the slides. Okay, so let's start with an example. Previously, I have created a sales order, two sales order to check how the multi-picking is behaving. And I'm going to show you this. These are my sales order that I previously created on my database. In here, the next step in the Produmex WMS workflow is to create a pick list proposal that is going to make this recommendation based on many parameters that we have in WMS. Is going to create these recommendations about the items I have to pick. After this pick list proposal, we can create the pick list, and we can start making our pick list workflow. So here I have this option that I can make the pick list proposal and the pick list directly on the document one by one, or another option that I have is that in the Produmex module, I have this report that is called Open Sales Order. And in this report, I can create many, or at the same time, I can create many pick list proposals or many pick lists. So, for example, for our first case, that is multiple picking, I will choose these two sales order, and then I have in here generate pick list proposal. In here it says that these pick list proposals have been generated, and if I go and check on them, I have in here, for example, the information about the customer, my document number, the due date, where these items are going to be stored after the picking and are going to be prepared for the shipping, and which are the items and the quantities that I have to reserve or I have available, and of course the batch numbers, the quality status, and more information about the dates in the document. Okay, so if I agree with this pick list proposal, I can create my pick list from here, or of course I can do the same as the sales order. I can in here select my two pick list proposals and generate pick list. Okay, so again, my open sales orders report, if I update this report, I will see that I already created my two pick lists for these sales orders. Then I can go and check on this report called Open Document Report, the picking list that I have created. So in here, I can choose the pick list document, and it's going to show me all the pick list that I have opened at that moment. For example, here I have my two pick lists that I just generated, and with all the information regarding to this pick list. Okay, for example, here we have the status that it's only created, the document is only created, but the picking is not ready still. Okay, so then I have here this document number. This is the document number for my pick list, and you can see that I have another document number called a wave. In this case, we are going to see multiple picking, but it's also a document number that is relevant for our picking workflows. In this case, when I consolidate many pick lists in a wave, this number will be the same for all these documents that have been consolidated. In this case, I just need this as a reference, so I can go to my terminal or my scanner and look my pick list and start with the operations. So then I go here to my terminal. This is the way that the application is going to behave in a mobile device, a handheld, and the user. This is the menu or the main menu that the user is going to see when we are using this scanner or this terminal. So here we have the different modules that have the functionality, the WMS functionality. And for picking, I go to the sales module and I choose the option multi-picking. And as you can see, I have in here my two pick list, and I start to select one of these. Okay. So what is going to happen in multiple picking is that the system is asking me for a movable location. It means that the user can prepare many pick lists at the same time, but in different movable locations. So in this case, for example, in different picking boxes, and after preparing this pick list on each picking boxes, after these steps, we are going to make the packing and we are going to make the shipping. So this is the way that multiple picking is going to behave. So for example, it says it's asking me my movable location. I'm going to say that I'm going to use the picking box number 1 for my pick list. And then it says, please give me the next document, the next pick list number. Of course, you can give this information manually, or you can scan directly the document. So it goes, and then it says, please give me the movable location for the next pick list. So I'm going to choose the picking box number 2, and I only have two pick lists, so I click on done, and then the system is going to tell me for making this picking, you will have to go and pick this item directly on these bin locations. These bin locations, of course, they belong to the organizational structure inside of WMS functionality. And then the user is going to start to go to these bin locations and to choose the items, or to pick the items. In here, we have to enter the pick location. Of course, the system is giving me this pick location, but of course, I also can, if it's needed, select another bin location. In this case, I select this my bin location. I select my item, my batch number, and then I have to say that I need 2 of this. Okay, just a second. Okay, and then it says that these items go to the picking box number 1. So the first line is done, and we have, or the user has to continue with the other items, and it says in here that for this case the items are picked. Okay, I'm going to finish this example in a very, very quick way, so we can continue. Okay, 2 cartons, and this one goes to my picking box number 2. Okay. Then I go with the next item. In here, we can scan also the product, and in this case, I'm choosing the product in manually. But the user with the mobile device at this point is going to scan the item. So again, I need 2 cartons of this item. Okay. Okay. The last one. Okay. 2 pieces. And finally, to my picking box number 2, and the items are picked. Okay, so we already picked all the items, and we don't see any more here the pick list open because we finish the operation. So we return to SAP and we update our Open Documents report. And now it says that the status of my picking list is picked. Okay. And if I go to the inventory report here on Produmex and I look for my items on the picking box number 1 and the picking box number 2, here it goes. Okay, so I have my 4 items ready here on my picking boxes. And the next step, in the case that we are having this packing station with our customers or in the warehouse, I go to my packing station and select my packing line number 1, and I enter my movable location. Okay, I'm going to say no logistic carrier because I already have it in cartons. So here I have for this customer, I have my items that I am going to use to prepare my logistics unit and to prepare the sales orders. So after this, it can the shipping can be done. So I select all my items and I will click on Finish Logistics Unit, and then here it says that these items were moved from my picking box to my shipping dock, and it's ready to make the shipping. Now you can see right now that I have my printing event that is going to help me to get these labels so I can identify my logistics unit. I'm going to show you how the label is printed. Then I have my other picking box. Again, I can select all my items. In here, I also can prepare, for example, if I want to have 2 logistics units, if I want to have this only 1 logistic unit with 1 item and another with the other item, I can do it in here and I will get 2 logistics units for this picking list. So that means that I can have a mono pallet only with 1 item, or I can have a mixed pallet with all the items that belongs to this pick list, and depending on the way that I'm going to ship to my customer is the way that this packing station can be used. In this case, I'm preparing mono pallets, and I'm going to add the items and finish my second logistics unit that of course has been moved also to my shipping dock. And again, if I go here to my inventory report, let's check in a very quick way. How my items were moved from my picking boxes to my shipping dock. So this is ready to go. Okay. So I'm going to show you the labels, how the labels are printed. So for example, in this case of monopallet, or a mixed pallet, sorry, I have here all the information regarding to this mixed pallet with my barcode, with my SSCC, and all the information regarding with the customer and the dates. Okay, so let's go and make the shipping to end this example of the multi-picking. And in this step, we go to this option called shipping. I go to my shipping doc, and then here on the pick list, I'm going to select my pick list and make the shipping, and this is going to create me the delivery document in SAP Business One. So in here it says that needs an SSCC. Okay, it says that it has been loaded and is creating the sales delivery notes on SAP. Okay, and I have here my delivery note for my first pick list, and then I go here and here it goes. So here. Okay, and again it's going to create my label, and it's going to create a document on SAP. Just we give a few seconds. Ready, okay. Let's see how the label is printed. And here I have my delivery note regarding to this document. So let's go in a very, very quick way to check on the delivery. And in this, as I was saying, in this step of shipping, I will create my deliveries, or WMS will create the deliveries, the delivery document on SAP. Okay, so here is the example for multi-picking, and now we go to the wave picking. Okay, to go to the wave picking, okay, of course in the wave picking we also need a sales order. We can create, or we can make the same step, creating the pick list using the open sales order. Then we have to group this pick list in a wave, and after this, in the terminal, we are going to make the pick list using the wave. Okay, this wave that we are using to consolidate this pick list. Okay, so we go back to the system, and in this case, we go again to the extension parameters, and the same parameter that we saw at the beginning. Now it's relevant for this picking strategy. So we go to the pick list controller, and we have to enable this option, consolidate items to pick. Okay, ready. So we update this, and okay, then we go again to my terminal. I'm going to restart my terminal. It's going to take just a few seconds while we can start our example of wave picking. So again, I already have this sales order created for make my example, and I go to this report, the open sales order. Here I have ready my sales order, and I make the same step. I select my documents and I generate my pick list proposals, and I want to generate again my pick list. Okay, so I go to my open documents report and I update my report, and I can see here my new pick list and with the status not ready. So when we were looking at the multiple picking, the wave, I told you that we have this document number for the pick list and we have the wave number. So when we want to use the wave picking, we have to consolidate this pick list in one wave. So we select our documents, and as you can see at this moment, we have a different number of waves for each document. But when I need to consolidate, I use this option in this report that is called Make New Wave, and then you will see how the wave is changing and is the same number for the two pick lists. So if I go now again to my terminal, I go to sales and I choose the option picking. And now what I see is that I have my wave number, and this wave number has these two pick lists consolidated in it. Okay, so then I continue, and the same. In here it says for making this or for preparing this wave, you need to go to these locations and pick these items and these quantities. So again, it's asking me a movable location. In the case of the wave, we are just going to use one movable location, because in this picking card, for example, we are going to mix all these items that I need to pick for this pick list. And when I get to my packing station, in the packing station, these items are going to be separated in order to prepare my new logistics units that are going to be shipped to the customer. So, for example, in the case of the multiple picking, we were using a movable location for each pick list. In this case, we are using just one movable location for all the pick lists that belong to a wave. So we go and we start to pick our items. Okay, 2 cartons of this. Okay. The items are picked, so let's go in a very, very quick way to finish our example. The items are picked, and our last item. Okay. Oh, okay, and ready. We had selected of all our items for this wave. So we finish in this case, and of course, if I go again to my inventory report, first I go to the Open Documents report and we update, and you see that my items are picked. And let's go very, very quick to our inventory report. I'm going to open it again. Ready. And let's look over my picking cart, my movable location, number 1. And again, here it goes. So here I have my items consolidated, the pieces, and in my movable location, my picking cart number 1. And of course, the next step is the same in the packing station. So we go to the packing line, no logistic carrier, and then I will choose my movable location number 1. And I have in my movable location, I have listed my 2 sales order that I have to that they have been picked and that I have to prepare to be shipped. So again, we prepare all of this. Finish logistics unit. Okay, so again, going to create my labels. We select all, add the items, finish logistics unit. Okay, ready. So we've finished the logistics units for this picking list, and we go again to shipping, my shipping dock, pick list, and of course I can make here as a wave. I can make the shipping if I have the 2 options. If I want to ship this picking list separately, I can go one by one, or I can make the shipping using, of course, the wave. So if this picking this sales order are going to being delivered or shipped in the same truck, or we can be using the wave number and making the two shippings at the same time. Okay, so the SCC has been loaded, and my next logistics unit, and at this moment is going to create the delivery notes, but it's going to create the 2 delivery notes at the same time because it's a different sales order. So, and I'm going to get, of course, these 2 delivery documents printed. And with this, we finished the example for the wave picking. So in here, I'm going to print my delivery and the other delivery. Okay, ready. So let's go to sales delivery, and let's check in a very, very quick way. In here, of course, I have these deliveries created at the same time because they were created using a wave. So we finish the example for wave picking, and let's go to the last one, which is zone picking. So with zone picking, this is the last example that we are going to see today. With zone picking, I have the possibility to split my pick list according to the zones where the products are being stored. For example, if I have these different zones with different conditions inside my warehouse, for example, a freezer or a zone that it has an ambient temperature, I can split the picking list using the zone picking. Also, this with this zone picking, some users or this picking using the zones can be locked by users. So if one user is just making the picking from the freezer zone and the other one in a different zone, they are only going to make the picking that belong to the items in the zones they are working. So we go here to we are going to look at this zone picking, and in the zone picking I go to the organizational structure. I just want you to show you how we have, first of all, in the configuration, we need to create these types of zone, and these zone types are going to help me to make this configuration inside my warehouse. So, for example, if I go here to my warehouse one, I have here the freezer zone, and the freezer zone has, of course, another zones and the bin locations, which the bin locations that are used to store my products. And I have, for example, here in the picking zone has this zone type code belonging to this part of my warehouse. And I'm going to my sales order, and in this sales order, as you can see, I have different items, and in this case, for example, in the first item, if I go to the item master data, I will have in here my Produmex tab. This Produmex tab is about all the configuration needed for each item master data, so the Produmex functionality can be used in a proper way. So here, for example, this item, it has already a zone type, and it says that this item should be or has to be stored on the freezer zone. Okay, so again, if I go in the other one, oh, sorry. Okay, if I go in the other one, and the other item, here in Produmex tab, and this item has an ambient temperature. Okay, this is the zone type that is handling this item. Okay, so let's go and create directly here. I'm going to create, in this case, my pick list proposal directly from the document. Okay, so I have here my pick list proposal, and I generate my pick list. Okay, here I have my pick list and my quantities and the batch numbers. Okay, that is recommended. So let's go to the terminal, and in the terminal I am going to use the zone picking. So in the zone picking, I have in here my pick list, and then I have my zones. So as you can see, I have my aisle number 1 that is belonging to the zone picking that has an ambient temperature, and my aisle 1F that belongs to the zone freezer. So the users are going to see, in this case, if I have different users for each zone in my warehouse, they are going to see these the items that they have to pick that are stored in their zones. So let's make this, and it says that I have to go to my bin location. I am not going to choose a movable location. So, okay, product, I select my product, my batch number, and goes 5 trays. And that's it. And it says that it's already picked, and it's in my cross-dock number 1. So let's create, okay, and then again I go, and as you can see, only the items belonging to the freezer zone are missing to be picked. And finally, sorry, I go here, select location. This is also the other way I was telling you. You can select it in there, another bin location. We select the product. And I just need 1 carton of this product. Okay. So the picking is done, and again in the cross-dock, my logistics unit. Okay. And I don't have anything else to pick. Everything is ready. And finally, I go to the shipping, cross-dock, and I select my pick list, and it goes in here. And again, I load my SSCC, my logistics unit, so I can create my delivery document. And print my delivery note. Okay. Here it goes, my delivery note number 5. I will show you. Okay. So let's see. to end this, let's see. In here, I have the information about my delivery note. Okay. And let's go to my sales order. And my sales order is closed. We execute the relationship map, and we can see here the delivery created by Produmex WMS. Thank you so much for joining this session, and if you want or if you need anything, or if you have any questions about our warehouse management solution about Produmex, please feel free to contact us, and that will be all for today.